Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to mindforcombat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and it's my platform where I do boxing and MMA related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my small little platform? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, that's cool, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. My platform's very small, I'm trying to grow it and I need your help, so if you're new to the channel, definitely try and help me to grow it. It's not going to cost you no money, so just help a brother out here. Anyways, with that said, this is a video that I'm so excited to make because it is finally time for one of the biggest heavyweight rematches of all time. That's the second installment of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. And this is such an important and incredible fight when it comes to heavyweight boxing. Firstly, you got two undefeated guys that both have the rightful claim as being a number one in the world. And of course, AJ's there, but Deontay Wilder's got 10 defenses of his titles. AJ's just coming off a loss and a win to Andy Ruiz. And then you got Tyson Fury, who's the lineal champion, carries that lineal status, as we all know. And he comes into this fight with Deontay Wilder for the rematch off that controversial draw with Deontay Wilder, and now obviously it's become somewhat of a meme now, especially under every BT Sports post on the community page. Fury was robbed. Well, actually now he gets the opportunity to right what he felt was rightfully wronged to him. He gets the opportunity to get the belt back that he feels like he should have won that fateful night in December in 2018. Now it's very interesting. Since that night, Deontay Wilder's gone and had two spectacular KOs against his mandatory number one contender in Dominic Breazeale, who's a very talented and highly respected boxer. And then he took out Luis Ortiz as well, and he's looked like an absolute animal. That power that he carries is just somewhat shocking. Now, he had a bit of a tough time with Luis Ortiz, but still, there is a consistency in theme here. Fury's the better boxer, and he's going to win the rounds. But Deontay Wilder is a dangerous human being that can put out your lights in the blink of an eye, and he's going to have the opportunity to knock Tyson Fury out. Now, what we learned from the last fight coming into this fight is that Tyson Fury is the better boxer, and since that night, Tyson Fury's going to put on an absolute masterful performance in his Las Vegas fight against Tom Schwartz, and then he had the tough fight with Otto Wallin. So this is a really, really important fight for Fury. In my opinion, the winner of this fight will walk away the number one heavyweight in the world, regardless of AJ's positioning, and we're probably going to see a trilogy depending on how the fight goes. Now, that's unfortunate for Dillian Whyte, who I think is rightfully in line for the winner of this fight, but that's probably not what's going to happen. Regardless, this is a very, very important fight in heavyweight boxing. It's a very, very important fight in boxing in general, and me as a boxing enthusiast for my entire life, I cannot wait for this. And let me just be completely honest here. I am a fanboy of both of these guys. Of Deontay Wilder, I love watching him fight, the way he knocks people out, and of Tyson Fury, of his masterful movement at 6'9" and being as big as he is. Obviously, his incredible backstory as well. Now, I had strong feelings about how the fight went last time, but all of that is irrelevant. And now, let's break down this fight. So let's go through the tape and look at the stats. Deontay Wilder is 34 years old. Now, that's a heavyweight that's not old. Heavyweights tend to have a shelf life, but there's also an interesting thing to remember about Deontay Wilder. Most guys in boxing start to age in their 30s because they've been boxing to some level competitively since prior to 10 years old. You'll get Andy Ruiz, for example, who started amateur boxing when he was 7 years old, or they'll start in their early teens, or maybe even their late teens. But Deontay Wilder, that's not the case. He hasn't taken all those beatings. Actually, he started boxing at 21 years old, and essentially a year later, he was winning a bronze medal in the Olympics. And that's why maybe his style has not been as refined as some of these other more polished boxers that have been boxing for a long time. But at 34 years old, Deontay Wilder's most definitely in his prime. He's definitely coming into his own so much, and I actually believe that he still has scope for improvement. We all know that, but he still has scope for improvement, obviously technically, but even in understanding the game, because he's still, despite having 43 professional fights, he's only been actively training boxing for about 13, 14 years now. So that's something to really consider and remember when we're talking about this fight. Then you got Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is 31 years old, 3 years younger, but actually, of the two, I would say Wilder's probably the fresher man, despite the fact he's had less fights. And I would say that because at one point, Tyson Fury took off 3 years to go on a cocaine binge and put on 10 stones. Now, yes, he's lost that weight, and it's an incredible story, but all of that is not inconsequential. It does have consequences. There's a truth to be told to that, and it will catch up with you. Now, Fury is human. As incredible as his story is, and I do wonder if this is going to start to catch up with him. Now, I don't assume he will. He's still only 31 years old and he still looks good. But he didn't look quite as sharp when he fought Otto Wallin. Now, Fury is most certainly a fighter that raises to the occasion. But coming into this fight, when it comes around age and are they showing wear and tear, I do have some questions in my mind again about Fury, and I'll be dishonest or being dishonest with myself if I didn't put that out there. Whether or not that sounds silly or not, I have those thoughts and reservations, so I'm sharing that with you, and that's my honest thoughts on it. Something to consider. Deontay Wilder has a professional boxing, I was about to say mixed martial arts record, you know. Deontay Wilder has a professional boxing record of 42 wins, no losses and 1 draw, which is absolutely exceptional record, especially when you consider that he's knocked out 41 of those opponents. The only person to go the distance with him was Bermane Stiverne. He knocked him out brutally in the rematch, and whilst that draw against Fury went to the decision, he dropped Fury twice and arguably knocked him out in the 12th round. He fights Fury, who's 29 wins, 0 losses and 1 draw. So absolutely incredible records between them. They were combined 71 wins and no losses with 2 draws. That's an absolutely exceptional record. There's so much championships coming into this. Actually, the WBC belt's on the right line, but the Ring magazine has actually put on lineal status on the line as well. So that is very important coming into this fight. Deontay Wilder stands at 6'7", which would normally make him heavier and taller than most people, but he is actually 2 inches shorter than the 6'9" Tyson Fury, who is also going to be much heavier than him. Tyson Fury weighed in the last fight around 250 when last time they fought, and Wilder weighed in about 209. However, Tyson Fury saying he's coming in a bit heavier this fight, maybe about 260. But Wilder has been putting on some size, so I assume we're going to see Wilder about 220. Fury's going to be significantly heavier than him, but I still believe that Wilder was actually the more physically stronger man. So it should be interesting watching that dynamic play out. Tyson Fury has an 85-inch reach, which gives him a 2-inch reach advantage over Deontay Wilder. And these are both orthodox fighters. Now, the difference in their style is very vast. So firstly, we'll start with Wilder. Wilder, he's an unorthodox boxer. He doesn't have the basic fundamentals that you would expect from the boxer. Matter of fact, he boxes very differently in a way that a lot of people will consider that he lacks talent and skills. I don't necessarily believe that to be the case. I believe he has a skill set, but his skill set is a very particular one, i.e. he's a devastating finisher. Probably the most prolific finisher in boxing of all time, more prolific than Mike Tyson and George Foreman, because those guys had a large amount of skill as well, whereas Wilder relies solely on his power. Now, Wilder has skill. He has a lot more skill than people give him credit for. For example, he has a great jab. I believe he has great foot placement. Conditioning, obviously, conditioning is a skill in some way, shape or form. So he has got skills that he brings to the table. Along with it, he brings the great equalizer, the greatest equalizer of all time. Now, Tyson Fury, his style, he's obviously a movement-based boxer. He's got that beautiful, slick style where he moves around, cuts, angles. He's unpredictable. Eddie Hearns called him irky-jerky. I don't think that's a fair way to describe him. Irky-jerky almost sounds unpolished. Tyson Fury is most certainly very polished in his approach to boxing, and I really enjoy watching Tyson Fury's movement. So they are vastly different boxers. Key wins for Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder gets a lot of flack for his record, but after being able to punch his way into the mainstream, despite not being given that opportunity by promoters, he's actually got some key wins over Luis Ortiz, not once but twice, the heavyweight boogeyman, who, despite everyone cussing for his age, everyone refuses to fight him, so make of that what you will. He's obviously taken out Dominic Brazil, who was a mandatory in line for the fight, and that's something to remember. He's beaten guys like Malik Scott along the way. Malik Scott was a respected boxer and somewhat of a top contender. Johan Duhapis. These are all good guys, all talented boxers, and of course he had that draw with Tyson Fury. For Tyson Fury, he's got wins over the likes of Derek Chisora not once but twice. He's obviously beaten Steve Cunningham early in his career, and he beat the great Vladimir Klitschko to end his run in what was an absolutely dominant performance over there in Germany in 2015. What a win that was for Fury, and of course the draw with Wilder. That goes both ways. The issues that Wilder's going to have in this fight is his technical deficiencies, especially when compared to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is going to be a much more technical boxer than Deontay Wilder, and he's going to have to figure out that puzzle once again. He almost did last time, but he's going to have to really have it figured out. The issue for Tyson Fury is going to be what is going to be the residual effects of the cut that he suffered against Otto Wallin. Now, that brought with it scar tissue. It was a deep cut, and it wasn't that long ago. So in 6-7 months, the cut won't heal. A cut like that will take a long time to heal and may never heal. And if he gets popped in the eyebrow again, that same cut will reappear. That's certainly going to impact him. And what about, is there a mental block that's going to be associated with this fight? You know, he's going to come in there recognizing the whole fight that Wilder might just put his lights out in any second. Is that going to impact him? Now, Fury doesn't seem like the guy that would impact, but we got to think about it. The X factor for Deontay Wilder is always going to be his power, and for Tyson Fury, the X factor is going to be his movement and his skill. There's also another thing that we got to consider coming into this fight. Over the last 6 months, we've seen Tyson Fury do WWE. We've seen Tyson Fury split with Ben Davison, who helped him drop to 10 stones and was a big focal part in his career and his comeback, and it was a great relationship they had. And I don't know what happened there. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it was completely cordial, but that is something to remember. And we've seen him sing song with Robbie Williams. Where is Tyson Fury coming into this fight? What's his mental state coming into this fight? For Deontay Wilder, well, he's been locked away in a gym, knocking out the likes of Luis Ortiz, and just, you ain't really seen much of Wilder, have you? You've just seen Wilder locked in a gym, putting in the work. I'm really interested to see. This reminds me of when Rocky Balboa fought Mr. T the first time, and Rocky Balboa was out there enjoying that championship lifestyle. Meanwhile, Mr. T was just there training like a savage. So that's another X factor that's there lurking. And now it may be an over consideration of something that's really inconsequential, but it's something that we should remember, particularly when I'm trying to analyze this fight as a YouTube armchair analyst. It is something that I want to throw out there and know that I do recognize this, and this is something to consider. Now let's get into the prediction. Last fight, what we saw was Tyson Fury, after just being back in the game for coming on 6 months. We saw Tyson Fury outbox him clean. For the first 8-9 rounds, he looked pretty great. Now, Wilder had his moments in the first 8-9 rounds. The fight weren't as one-sided as all the British fanboys, and I'm British, would have you believe. Wilder had his moments, and it was actually a very competitive fight, but I certainly had Fury winning. Things started to change around round 9. Now, I have to wonder, did Fury get complacent around round 9 because he started to think, well, I'm cruising away with it? Did he start to get tired? What was going on at that moment in time, the first time he was knocked down? And to me, there is some considerations as to what was going on, but I believe he started to get complacent, and that gave Wilder an opportunity to catch him. Wilder is a vicious finisher when he hurts you, so this is something that is very, very much playing on my mind coming into this fight. That knockdown that Fury faced in round 12, I don't think he gets up from that. Actually, there's a point of diminishing returns. Your chin doesn't get better after taking brutal, savage knockdowns. It gets worse. Now, does Tyson Fury have what it takes to be able to get up from a knockdown like that again, like he suffered in round 12? I don't think so. Will he find himself on his bum at some point in this fight with Deontay Wilder? You have to assume so, but that's not enough for me to pick Wilder. Now, this is such a difficult fight, and I feel like the storylines that were consistent leading into the first fight remain consistent now, i.e. Tyson Fury needs to outbox Wilder, and Wilder needs to knock him out. Tyson Fury is a much better boxer. Deontay Wilder was a dangerous finisher. All of those things are consistent, and they remain. Who am I picking for this fight? Honestly, I could flip a coin, and I'm not sure. But if I have to make a prediction, I will always lean on the fighter who seems to have more tools, more abilities, and is technically superior. Now, that's not obviously worked out in MMA. I picked JDS to beat Francis Ngannou, and that went terrible. I'm obviously not the greatest analyst of all time. I don't know everything. But if I have to make a pick in this fight, I have to lean on the technically superior fighter who showed us he can outbox Deontay Wilder after having only 2 bum fights, call it for what it was, after 3 years off and a cocaine binge. This time, hopefully, we see Tyson Fury in better shape and better mental state. Now, there is questions, and I think Wilder can very much knock him out. Honestly, this is a toying cost for me, and I'm actually not certain of this prediction, but for my official prediction, for the sake of this video, I'm going with Tyson Fury to outbox Wilder for 12 rounds and get knocked on his arse at some point to set up the trilogy. And honestly, if this fight was to happen 10 times, it will probably be 5-5, maybe even 4-4 with 2 draws, who knows. That's how difficult this fight is. It's an excellent fight. It's great for boxing, it's great for boxing fans, and I cannot wait. Anyways, fight fans, I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown of this fight. Let me know what you guys thought of my breakdown. Let me know how you guys have this fight going. I really can't wait to watch it. I know all the boxing fans in the world are excited, and MMA fans, you guys need to get behind this one as well. Check it out. I'll definitely be doing a live chat just before it, like I do for all the big fights these days. Apparently, that's what I do anyway. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, if you're new here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share out the video to your friends and family. Help me grow my platform. I'm Rohan, and this is Mindful Combat.